Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is if you have your natal Mercury sextiling or trining Mars. Sextiles and trines are considered easy or cooperative angles, meaning that when the two planets come together, if they come together, they create an energy or an influence that is going to kind of advance something. It's going to make something happen rather than like a square or opposition, which are considered challenging aspects, which kind of like block something, or with the opposition, it opposes something, but it might be like hard to integrate. It might go from one extreme to the other. So with the trine, this combination is going to be more something that you don't have to think about much, because I would say it's innate. I think I'm using information from cafeastrology.com, so shout out to them. They're a great resource. I think they said it, I'm not sure, I read so much, but this idea of the trine being something that is it's something that you have, that you are aware of, and that you naturally are able to manage or work with. I feel like I'm mangling their explanation, something like that. I would say it's probably more innate or automatic or built into yourself, whereas the sextile is something that if you make an attempt to do something, it works out in your favor pretty easily. Like using the example of a square again, that's something where a person may have to struggle a little bit, push and push in order to um, jump over that hurdle of whatever is going on. So, in any way, what we need to talk about here is, what do these two planets represent and what happens when they come together? Well, Mercury is about the mind. How does the mind function? How do we obtain information? Do we even want to obtain information? Are we kind of like interested in really exercising our mind? Not everybody is. And how do we communicate? Again, some people are better than others at communicating. And some people don't like to communicate, and some people, you can't shut them up. And then Mars is action. So some people are very action oriented. Mars rules both Aries and Scorpio, but with Aries, you can really see, since Aries is a cardinal sign, you can really see that being maybe always doing something, always having a goal. And so when these two planets form a harmonious angle like this, there is a desire to learn, and there never will not be that desire. You'll always want to do it. One word that they used that I found a little bit initially confusing, because I don't think of it as a positive term, is about having a restless mind, meaning that the person can't really stop their mind. And to me, that would be detrimental. But the reason I think that they're saying this is that, to me, Mercury is ADD and Mars is ADHD, meaning that, with Mercury, the person jumps from one thought to another, one interest to another. Maybe is just, the internet is probably crack for such a person, because they can just load another page and look at something else. And Mars is always having to be doing something. So these projects. So I could kind of see it on that level. And restlessness always is a sense of wanting to, to me, it's like the novelty factor, always looking for fresh stimulation and things like that. And so I guess that even with this harmonious angle, both of these are harmonious, that there might still be instances where you find it hard to just chill and not be like your mind being on overdrive. Now, again, that doesn't mean that you can't work with that. You could obviously practice meditation and cultivate that empty mind that the Buddhists talk about, where you don't always have to be engaged. So this is interesting. Another word that they use that is kind of confusing is that you are brave. Now, it doesn't confuse me when Mars is involved, because Mars is the warrior energy, but how it connects with Mercury, maybe in terms of being able to maybe just even verbally brave, because this combination can be someone that is able to communicate things truthfully and letting the chips fall where they may, but it's not necessarily combative, because Mars can be combative, but because it is kind of protected with a harmonious aspect to it, it can make it softened in that sense. And I really, now that I think about it, it is pretty brave to be honest in one's speech, especially nowadays, because there is such a condemnation, a public condemnation of people who speak their truth, that it discourages people from doing so. And I just feel like in general, a lot of people are hesitant to really be authentic in their language. And to me, that maybe because I have the Sun and Mercury and Sagittarius, and that's a fire energy. And I think because of Mars, there's that kind of fiery connection as well, that it's something that I would be all about myself. But I find that it's not very common, unfortunately. It seems like it's pretty common for people to be dishonest and it just be par for the course, which is sad. So yeah, so I guess I can understand that. So you are creative, and I think that they mention creativity because Mars is connected to this is like having Mercury in Aries, I would say, and Aries is a fire sign. So and having a well aspected Mercury. So they also use the word quick, and I would say like you could say quick-witted, or somebody who can like act very, like in a crisis situation. With Mars, it can be the sense of urgency, or when you have to make snap decisions, that's very important. And I wonder if this is even a better situation than having a conjunction between Mercury and Mars, because I think in that case, the person may make snap decisions, but sometimes they may regret them because they kind of were too hasty. So I think that having like a sextile, or especially a trine, that would be very advantageous for somebody. Maybe if they have like a certain profession where they have to be quick on the draw and they have to, make decisions in the moment, that would be the case. And they mentioned being well suited for writing, but then they said manual arts, and so I'm wondering if that means like something where you have to do something crafty, like having good dexterity, because Mercury in Gemini, I think Gemini rules the hands, and the third house that Gemini rules can be about manual dexterity. So anything where somebody's good at maybe craftsmanship, that would be the case. Yeah, I could see that. I would even say somebody who's like a carpenter, a craftsman, yeah, like that, because Mars can be like the builder, the construction worker. So I could see that. And so you are very good as a conversationalist, and I think there's like a colorful quality to this combination because Mars, carrying that fire energy, can be not only very blunt, but again, it's going to be modified because of the friendly angle, but can be straightforward, but also can have that kind of creative self-expression. People can communicate, but they can do so in a rather dull manner where they're just kind of like very flat. They have no kind of oomph in their delivery and things like that. And then there are some people that you like to listen to because they kind of add a little bit of spice. Well, I think that this is a perfect combination of that. Okay, yeah. Now they did. This was a site that mentioned this. The talking about the difference between the trine and the sextile. The sextile can summon up these traits. The trine, they said that they have incorporated them into their personality, but I don't even think that they have incorporated it. I think it is just there. It's like innate. Hey, I could be wrong about that, but that's just how I see it. I'm going to see if there's anything else that I want to say. One thing that they mention here that I think is a very important concept is that when you have focus in what you're doing, you can accomplish a lot in a little bit of time, whereas other people would take a lot more time. And then, we see this even like with physical work sometimes, where somebody is very efficient in what they do and they're able to get it done, a lot done quicker than other people take. And this is like, I would see this as an alignment of things happening. Some people, they just have a lot of physical stamina, plus they have organizational ability to be able to do things most efficiently. In this case, because you have a cooperative angle, your mind is able to work quickly, and therefore you're able to do more with less time. And in terms of decision making, it's a great quality to be able to make decisions and to be okay with them. And that's how you are, because I would say because Mars has this courage, that, you don't second guess yourself. And that is great because a lot of people struggle with what to do, and they can give away their power because I notice people that are always asking other people their advice about their life, asking other people's advice about their life, which is really risky because other people have their own path and their own perceptions of life, and they may not be comparable to the rest of us. So we have to really tune into ourselves and be able to be confident. Yeah, and I think it's because Mars is confident. So the mind, the thoughts that you think, you can be very confident about acting upon them. I think that's the best way of explaining that. And I think in a similar vein, although they haven't mentioned it, I think you probably have the ability to be quite assertive in asking for what you need, because you're not coming from a place of doubting yourself. And so with speech, since Mercury represents speech, the ability to be able to ask for what you need in a straightforward way without being indirect, hinting around, that kind of thing, is very helpful. Because, there's also like a confidence built into that, that I feel makes it more likely that you will get what you want. If you ask somebody to do something and you portray this vibe of like not really feeling good about it, feeling like maybe I shouldn't be asking this person for something, maybe I don't have the right to, then they are going to pick up on that, and maybe they're going to feel more comfortable saying no to you. Whereas if you ask in a very authoritative manner, not an authoritarian way, but an authoritative, I think that, other people are more likely to respect that. And another thing, comparing it to a hard angle between Mercury and Mars, let's say you have a square there, the person may kind of bark out orders. And other people like, hell no, I'm not going to cooperate with this person. This person's pissing me off. This person is so, offensive or just like off-putting. I'm not going to, give them what they want. Okay. Well, there you have it. I hope that you... Oh, one last thing. I think that this would actually be really a great combination for a salesperson, because you can be straightforward so people won't think that you are kind of conning them. And yet at the same time, you can speak with a sense of authority or a sense of like confidence. And the combination of authenticity and confidence is really an attractive one. And I think that it can, make other people make other people trust you. Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.